If you're just starting to mix audio and you've got no third-party plugins, there's one compressor that always comes to my mind first as a recommendation. It's the LA2A. It's simple, it's smooth, and it sounds incredible. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned pro, the LA2A optical compressor should be in your toolbox. So what does LA2A actually mean? The LA stands for leveling amplifier. It's a compressor that was originally developed to tame speech and vocals for broadcast smoothly and transparently. It was created in 1958 by Jim Lawrence, founder of Teletronics. A few improvements later, the LA2A we know today launched in 1962, and it became a studio legend almost overnight. The LA2A, the 1176, well, what would be the difference? If you spent any time around pro audio, you've heard of two classic compressors, the 1176 and the LA2A. These two tools are everywhere, hardware plugins, DAWs, you name it. But here's what makes them different from each other. The 1176 is fast, like microseconds fast. It's aggressive and perfect for transient heavy instruments like drums and vocals that you need to lock in. The LA2A is slow and gentle. It uses an optical cell, which reacts more organically. That makes it ideal for vocals, bass guitar, acoustic instruments, and anything where you want smooth, natural compression. Think about the LA2A like it doesn't punch your audio, it kind of massages it. And the secret sauce behind all of this is the T4 optical cell. At the heart of the LA2A is a component called the T4 electro-optical cell. That's what gives it its signature character. When a signal hits the T4, it reacts by dimming a light source, and that light controls the gain reduction. Because it uses light and photoresistors instead of circuits, the compression curve is smooth and nonlinear. This is also a tube-based design, so you guitar players out there, you know what that means. It means warmth, saturation, a slight thickening of transients. It's everything you love about analog gear, just in plug-in form. So how do we actually use it? This is why I love the LA2A. It really only has three main controls that you need to know about. One is peak reduction. This is how much compression you're applying. The second thing is the gain knob. This is your makeup gain, used to bring the level back up after you've compressed it. Then there's a switch. It's the compress or the limit switch that toggles between compression modes for limiting and just overall compression. So first we need to talk about peak reduction, and this is where things get a little bit nerdy, but stick with me, this is important. According to the original LA2A manual, this is what it says. The amount of compression, as well as the threshold, is controlled by the peak reduction potentiometer. This knob increases the side chain gain, meaning the more you turn it up, the lower the threshold becomes and the more compression you get. So instead of giving you a fixed threshold knob like most modern compressors, the LA2A uses input sensitivity and side chain control to handle gain reduction. Think of this like you would a guitar's tube amp. It's not about precise numbers, it's about how it feels. So then we need to talk about the gain knob. Like I've said before, the gain knob acts like makeup gain. You use it to bring your overall signal back up after compression. A common approach is to aim for about 3 to 5 decibels of compression on the VU meter, then adjust the gain so your output level matches the input. Quick tip, bypass the plugin to compare the levels. If your compressed signal sounds quieter, then you need to increase the gain knob until they match. No attack or release settings? That's right, you don't get any attack or release knobs. The attack is fixed around 10 milliseconds. Release is program dependent. Roughly 60 milliseconds for 50% release, and up to 5 seconds for full release depending on the material that you feed the compressor. This simplicity is why I always recommend the LA2A to beginners. It teaches you what compression sounds like without overwhelming you with too many controls. So let's talk about that compress and limit switch. The compress and limit switch toggles the compression ratio. It's not labeled, but often you think about compression as being around maybe a 3-to-1 ratio, whereas limit is closer to a 10-to-1 ratio or even infinity to 1. I pretty much always leave it on the compress mode unless I'm working on something that has really big peaks and needs taming. But in that situation, I probably reach for an 1176. So where's the real world use of the LA2A? At our church, we have the new Behringer Wing Rack console, and I've got the LA2A on just about every channel. So every praise team vocalist, our acoustic guitars, the grand piano, they all benefit from that signature LA2A smoothing. I usually dial in about 4 to 5 decibels of compression for live vocals, and even when I push it a little bit harder, it doesn't sound over compressed. So it's very forgiving, especially for a live sound environment. I've also seen many other engineers stack the LA2A. So they'll have 2 LA2As, each of them doing about 3 decibels of compression, and they're stacked on top of each other. So they're a little more natural sounding than if you just overloaded one of them. Now, how do you get your hands on one of these? If you don't already have an LA2A, check your DAW. Many of them already include emulations of it. Studio One has one that's in its FAT channel. UAD makes one of the best plug-in versions, and they're giving it away for free many times before, so you may want to wait around for that, or maybe during a holiday sale. Waves, Slate, all these other plug-in companies are going to have some version of the LA2A. If you're going to invest in one plugin this year, wait for a holiday sale and grab a proper LA2A emulation. You won't regret it.